Welcome to the Collegewise virtual college fair. Before we get started with our presentations this evening, just a few quick housekeeping items. The first is that you are welcome and encouraged to ask questions to any of our panelists at any time utilizing the Q&A button. If you have a question for a specific school, please put that school's name or abbreviation in your question so they can easily identify it. Likewise, you're welcome to ask a general question of any and all of our panelists. Your camera and microphone are off during this session, so the panelists will not be able to see or hear you. We also want to remind you to feel free to sign up for more sessions, the same website where you signed up for this evening session. And about 1 week from today, a recording of this session will be available on that same registration website. Without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our first presenter this evening, which will be Boston University.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. So hi, everyone. My name is Duffy Moran. I'm a Senior Associate Director with Boston University. And for the next 6 minutes or so, I'm going to talk a little bit about BU. We are a large private and research university located right in the city of Boston. To just discuss BU, I think it's important to really start out just talking about our incredibly diverse student body with students coming to BU from over 130 countries in all 50 states. And we offer those students a diversity of thought, academic programming, and opportunity that really matches that diversity in terms of having 10 undergraduate schools and colleges, housing over 300 different programs of study. So while our students are required to apply directly to one of our schools and colleges, we're really built around this concept of one BU, meaning all of our students have the opportunity to pursue coursework spanning our schools and colleges and really pursue uniquely interdisciplinary paths. So as a BU student, you have the opportunity to pursue double majors, dual degrees where you're majoring across schools and colleges, and really take advantage of having this coursework that expands across all 10 schools and colleges. It may result in biomedical engineering student pursuing a minor in music through our College of Fine Arts, or maybe a minor in public health through our traditionally graduate level school of public health, or maybe a journalism student in our College of Communication pursuing a second degree during their 4 years in international relations within our College of Arts and Sciences. And with nearly 17,000 undergraduates, we are a large university, but we have so many resources in place to ensure that our students are building connections and able to work hand in hand with advisors and mentors to find a pathway well at BU. So along with the numbers you can see here, 80% of our classes have fewer than 30 students, only 4% of our classes have more than 100 students. So there really are so many opportunities in so many ways in which our students are working with their mentors, their advisors. Some of those might include programs like our first year experience program for students. Take a 1-credit class learning how to utilize the Educational Resource Center, which is our free tutoring center, our Center for Career Development, or our opportunities around undergraduate research, and really just learn how to navigate all the different resources that are available at BU, and also understand how to make lasting connections with the brilliant and accomplished folks who make up our faculty, and leading to those different pathways towards experiential learning. And there are a lot of ways that that can take place. BU is actually chartered as a research institution. We're a teaching and research university. We were one of the first research universities in the country. Professor Alexander Graham Bell actually invented the telephone with a BU research grant and a BU lab in 1876. And that identity has really evolved over the years, and we are now a major tier 1 research university with over $570 million in funded research on our campus last year. And there are a lot of ways that really affect undergraduate student education. There are so many programs designed to integrate research, internships, and clinical experiences into students' curriculum and foster and fund undergraduate research experiences during the 4 years they spend with us. So whether that means taking advantage of our undergraduate research opportunities program, through which we fund over $1 million of undergraduate research each year, whether it's taking advantage of our Yaki Foundation internship program, which is just one of many internship programs we have, where we fund over 200 internships in the nonprofit sector for students who have found unfunded internships to make sure that they're compensated for their works. Maybe it's working with our Build Lab or the Innovative BU initiative, where we have an incubator space on campus offering pathways for students to pursue innovative and entrepreneurial ideas, and really collaborate with other students from across the university, other departments across the university, to build out their own businesses and create their own entrepreneurial pathway, compete in pitch competitions and all those pieces too. There are over 4,000 internship opportunities available across our schools and colleges, and our Center for Career Development does an excellent job hosting employers on campus. We had over 400 employers on campus last year, and bringing in all those different opportunities for students to find ways to engage outside the classroom across the different schools and colleges. We're also a place that very much values that global engagement and citizenship. It's probably best exemplified through our study abroad programs with over 80 programs spanning 6 continents. Our options are all BU run and operated, and there are study abroad options for every major. Nearly half our students will study abroad at some point in time while at BU. And as a BU student, we really want you to be engaging in what is a global campus. When you graduate BU, you're entering into a global alumni network with over 30,000 alumni living outside the United States and alumni in over 180 of 196 world countries. Along with that diversity of our students and the opportunities that you'll find at BU, I think what makes our campus such a special place is just the inclusive nature of the community you'll find there. With so many different students pursuing so many different pathways, you'll find so many different pathways outside the classroom too. There are over 450 student clubs and organizations. There are student culture organizations, political organizations, opportunities in the fine arts, service organizations. Over the last 5 years, BU students did over 1.8 million hours of community service. We offer club sports, intramural sports, and Division I sports as well. So there really is something for everyone on our campus, and there is always something happening on campus and something going on campus. And I think our students truly appreciate having that home on campus. And so much of it's really a testament to the value of the residential experience. We really believe that student life follows students to where they live, so we work to create a true home for our students on our campus. And being an urban school, I think it's pretty unique to have a campus housing upwards of 80% of our students, guaranteeing housing all 4 years, right in the city of Boston. And Boston is truly part of our campus. We span about 1.5 miles of Commonwealth Avenue with the T, the train system in Boston, running right through the center of campus. We're a 15-minute subway ride into downtown Boston. We're right across the street from Fenway Park, and we're a short walk into the shops and restaurants in Back Bay, museums and cultural institutions of the Fenway area, and all the opportunities for research and clinical experience found in the Longwood medical area, which is home to some of the top hospitals and facilities in the country. So whether it's pursuing internships, research opportunities, or just fun, our students have so many opportunities that I think they appreciate being able to take advantage of the resources of the city of Boston while also having our campus community right there. The last screen has some contact information as well as virtual event info, so feel free to check us out. Otherwise, I'll be in the chat and I'm happy to answer any more questions that you all have. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, BU. Our next presenter this evening will be Nichols College.
Right, everyone. Thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Nathan. I am one of the admissions counselors here. Aside from my current role as an admissions counselor, I am also a recent graduate with the class of 2019, and I was fortunate enough to play lacrosse here. So please, any questions you may have, not only, of course, about what we go over today in the admissions process, but about my experience here at Nichols College as a student, I'd love to connect and answer any of those for you as well.
Just so you know, it's in notes mode.
Oh, I apologize. I gotta flip back. You would think at this point I would be a Zoom expert, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Are you folks still seeing notes mode?
No, just do it presentation, the little kind of presentation thing down at the bottom right.
Of course. Give me one moment. I believe I'm working off of 2 screens here. You'll have to forgive me. So I've got a couple of options. Here we go. I believe I got it now. Better?
Yeah, looks good.
Perfect. I apologize. Like I said, Zoom expert at this point, but the fact of the matter is I am not. So a little bit about Nichols College. So we are a small 4-year private education institution. A majority of our students are pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, with our largest programs currently being sport management. Now that's followed by accounting and finance, and that's followed closely behind by students pursuing our general business route. Well, although yes, predominantly a business school, we do have some fantastic Bachelor of Arts programs as well. And the largest programs within our Bachelor of Arts field are going to be our psychology, and that's followed closely behind by criminal justice. Like I mentioned, a relatively small institution of around 1,200 undergrad students, and we are located in Dudley, Mass. The next question I often get asked when I say Dudley is, where is that? So if I were to put it on a map for you, where the states of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts all meet, we're just over the border on the Massachusetts side. So just a little bit about our undergrad programs. I apologize, it doesn't seem to be progressing here. There we go. So just so you have an idea of the undergraduate programs that we are looking at, I'll just leave this up for a brief moment. Like I said, predominantly a business school, but I hope that one of these majors here that we do offer is of interest to you. And of course, I'd love to connect and chat further about any one of our fantastic programs. So next, I want to touch on our professional development seminar because it's really what makes Nichols unique in a sense. This is our 4-year, 1-credit program that all students are required to take, and each year progresses student not only throughout college, but to create the most well-rounded business professional that we can imagine. So year 1 is welcome to college, making sure that you're best prepared for success in terms of understanding where your resources are, and of course for those students that come in undecided, really exploring each one of the potential majors and fields that they could go into. Year 2 is going to be all about networking. So in year 2, you're going to create a LinkedIn account, you're going to perfect cover letters, resumes, you're going to be attending a lot of job fairs, a lot of alumni events, really putting yourself out there in whatever industry you choose to go into. Year 3 is going to really hone in on that industry specific skills that you're going to need. So year 3 is home to the biggest assignment, in my opinion, and that's going to be the mock interview. What that is students are going to pick a potential career that they can see themselves fulfilling. We're going to bring someone in from that company or a company very comparable to it, and they're going to sit down and interview you as if you are actually applying for that position. So, yes, extremely nerve-wracking, but extremely beneficial in the sense that you get your first industry-specific real-world interview out of the way before you even leave your time here at Nichols. And then year 4 is very comparable to year 1, when year 1's welcome to college. Year 4, I'll say, is welcome to life after college. So in year 4, it's less about we need to address X, Y, and Z, and more of an open conversation amongst your peers and professors, talking about what you're excited for, nervous about, and really making sure that all of your questions are answered for life post-college. And that's PDS in a nutshell. So I'll talk a little bit about athletics. Like I said, I played lacrosse at Nichols College myself, so I do have a lot of bison pride in terms of our athletic programs. We do compete at the Division III level. We are now up to our 23rd varsity sports program with our newest edition, esports, and our teams compete in the Commonwealth Coast Conference. I will tell you that being at the Division III level, walkouts or walk-ons are encouraged, and you can always feel free to start the recruitment process by visiting our athletic websites. In the top right-hand corner, there's going to be a Recruit Me tab that'll go directly to coach, and that can help start the recruitment process. A little bit about campus life. Around 80% of our students do live on campus, and they live in any one of our 11 residence halls. One thing that I particularly liked about living on campus is your first year, you actually do have your own private restroom within the room. I know that's fairly unique for, especially of a first-year residence hall. But after your first year, you have the ability to choose to live in any one of our other 10 residence halls. So it's not so much sophomores live here, juniors live there. It's really based upon personality. We offer anywhere from your own single private bedroom all the way up to suite style living of including 6 people. So really whatever your comfort level is, you can choose to live in any one of those styles of living. We have over 40 clubs offered, and there are daily campus events. I find being a relatively small institution that offering over 40 clubs is a very healthy number. But of course, should none of those 40 clubs float your boat or pique your interest, you always have the ability to start your own. So I'll talk a little bit about how to apply. So we are free to apply, and we do accept Common Application or our own Nichols College specific app. What you're going to need in addition to your application is your high school transcript, first quarter grades, a letter of recommendation, a personal essay, as well as SAT and or ACT scores. I will tell you that we are completely test optional on somewhat of a sliding scale, I will point out, with that benchmark being a 2.6 GPA. So any students who apply with above a 2.6, they can choose to waive their test scores, no questions asked. Any students who apply below that 2.6 benchmark, they can still choose to waive their test scores, but at that point, we would require an interview. So I know now testing dates and all of that are kind of up in the air and are an area of concern for most students and parents. So please, if you choose Nichols, just know that you have the option and ability to go completely test optional. So I'll leave you, as I'm wrapping up here, with just some fun facts regarding Nichols. These are facts that I pride myself on, of course, being a recent graduate, and a place of employment, but being on the 2020 Princeton's Review list of best colleges in the Northeast, being ranked 17 out of 25 for best value in a sport management degree, and being 94% job outcome rate within 6 months of graduation, I just feel really attest to the strength of our programs here at Nichols. If you were to ask me, I find the bottom two statistics most impressive, being top 3% in economic mobility and being top 10 for return on investment amongst private business schools really show that, college is an investment, and should you choose Nichols, we'll make sure that we, to the best of our ability, create that most well-rounded business professional. So of course, I would encourage any questions to come through the chat box. And then this is my contact information, and I would love to connect and answer any questions that I wasn't able to address today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Nichols. Our next presenter this evening will be Suffolk University.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me pull up my PowerPoint here. Alrighty, hello everyone. My name is Patrick Dean and I'm an admissions counselor here at Suffolk University. You can find my contact information right here and it'll pop up again at the end of the presentation. To talk a little bit about us and who we are and where we are, we're located right in the heart of downtown Boston. Actually, in my virtual background right here, you can see our location in Boston with even some of our buildings, Sargent Hall right there, and 73 Tremont Street right there, two of our main buildings. So you can see we are extremely an urban campus built right into the middle of downtown. So students can leave their residence halls right over here, and they're right in the Theater District of Boston, or you can leave your residence hall right over here in One Court Street, also known as the Ames Building, the oldest skyscraper in the city of Boston, and you're right next to the old Massachusetts State House. We're built right along the Freedom Trail, where you have historical sites like the State House, and the Greenery Burying Ground, where we have the grave sites of Paul Revere, John Hancock, and Sam Adams. Also, being downtown, we're surrounded by everything that the city has to offer with all the different sports teams, companies, historical sites that I was talking about, law firms that go hand in hand with our law school. So really our students have so much great access to everything, which goes hand in hand with our education and our focus on experiential learning. So we want to get you outside of the classroom and into your field as soon as possible. Right now, there are so many alumni that live in the city. We have about 83,000 alumni globally. Many of them like to stay within the Boston area because many of them have had internships and hands-on experience in that Boston area itself. So it's very easy for them to come back to campus and help mentor our students and bring them into their own companies and really start expanding on the Suffolk experience there. Also, many of our professors have had experience working with different companies in the city, and the same thing, they bring the companies into the classrooms, and really all these organizations in the city build on the Suffolk community and are a valued part of our community. Right now, we have just about 70 undergraduate programs that you can see right over here between the College of Arts and Sciences and the Sawyer School of Business. Together, we have just about under 5,000 undergraduate students, so we're about a medium to small school in that aspect. Right now, we have an average class size of just about 21 students and a student faculty ratio of 15:1. Because of our downtown location and where our buildings are, we actually have no lecture halls on campus. So you're never going to be sitting in the back of a 300-person lecture hall. Your professors are really going to get to know your name, know your learning style, and know your goals so they can really help you achieve and seek out those goals. While academics is obviously the keystone to any college experience, it's not going to be the only thing in that experience. Right here, we have a list of some of our clubs and organizations. We have just over 120 of them. We have different leadership programs on campus, like the Journey Leadership Program, which takes students on team building activities, not just all throughout Boston, but even going down to DC, Barbados, and Florida. We also have some different programs like the Student Government Association, who I believe in 2018, I always forget the year, they brought Post Malone to campus to do a concert for us. So that was kind of the big thing that happened. And we also have so many alternative break options for our students too. So you can go down to DC to fight for racial justice or LGBTQ equality. And also you can go to places like Cambodia and work with Habitat for Humanity. There are so many ways to get involved, even joining some of the 25,000 hours of community service that our students have done. Right now, we have just about 19 NCAA Division III teams on campus. I'm actually the athletics liaison, so if students ever have any questions about athletics, please get in contact with me. It's actually a very exciting time for us. We're moving into a new conference, the Commonwealth Coastal Conference, so we're going with schools that fit our academic profile a little bit more, and it's going to be a bit more competitive for some of our students over here. We started winning some championships with our men's indoor track and field team winning the GNAC championship last year, and our soccer coach actually got Coach of the Year this year. So our athletics program has been expanding and growing from there. We have our very own athletic center on campus that has our free gym for every single student to use. And then we have the East Boston Sports Complex located right next to Logan International Airport, where we have all of our soccer fields, baseball fields, everything else for all of our students. We also have a ton of study abroad and travel opportunities that we offer here. We have our very own campus located in Madrid, Spain. Students can go to the Madrid campus for as little as a week through our Global Gateway program, where you can take your first year spring break at the Madrid campus. So basically, you're just taking spring break in Madrid. Or if you do a major like international relations, you can actually spend all 4 of your years at the Madrid campus. Most majors are eligible for 2 years, and you can actually, when you apply to Suffolk, apply directly to Madrid or directly to the Boston campus, whichever one you feel like you want to start your academic journey at. When looking at other opportunities, we offer a bunch of traditional study abroad opportunities in 30 plus countries at over 50 partner universities. We also have a bunch of other opportunities that students can take advantage of. For example, students can go on faculty-led study tours, which you go with a faculty member for just a week to a different country. So we want to fit any travel opportunity we can in your schedule and give you as many opportunities as we can. To talk a little bit about the diversity on campus, right now about 21% of our student body is made up of international students, and just about 37% of our domestic students identify as students of color. So just as people come from all over the world and all over the country to Boston, the people do the exact same for Suffolk University. For my last slide, here's my contact information, pdean2@suffolk.edu. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm here to make the college application process as easy as I possibly can for you. We take the common application or the Suffolk application. We require a high school transcript, essay, 1 letter of recommendation, and we are test optional. So if you can't get your hands on a test or feel like they don't represent you, you absolutely do not have to send them, and you will not be penalized in any way, shape, or form. Our deadlines are November 15th for early action and February 15th for regular decision. All students are automatically considered for merit-based aid, and you submit the FAFSA form to be considered for any need-based aid. Right now, probably the most telling statistic for us is 99% of our students are employed or in graduate school within a year after graduation. So that's basically everything that I have. Thank you all so much, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Suffolk. As we move into the second half of our presentation, just a reminder to our attendees, you are welcome and encouraged to submit any questions you may have for any of our panelists using the Q&A feature. Up next will be University of Massachusetts Lowell.
All right, thank you, Chris. I'm going to obviously share my screen and jump into my presentation. Oh, once it responds to me, there we go. All right. So I, of course, am Tom with UMass Lowell. I am an alum of the university. While I'm not from Lowell, I do live in Lowell as well, so I know the city and the area, and of course the school very well. But I, of course, introduced you to the university. I love that I get to start with this picture of the university, the aerial map of the school, highlighting the campus and our location. As you can see, we're part of the city of Lowell. We are not sectioned off, from the community. We are right part of the city of Lowell. East Campus, where most of the residence halls are located, is right next to downtown Lowell. Right off of the picture, actually to the left would be downtown Lowell. So you are a 3 to 5 minute walk if you live on campus. So that's really cool about living on East Campus and being a residential student. All majors are typically divided between North and South Campus. So as a student, you spend the vast majority of your time on one campus or the other. I myself was a history student, so I spent like 99% of my time on South Campus. When I say that much, I mean all my classes, but 3 or 4 were on South Campus. So on that campus, you would find all the humanities, social sciences, and health sciences, like nursing and physical therapy would be down there. North Campus across the river is going to have all the engineering, all the sciences, and all the business programs. So your major is very much focused on one campus or another. Definitely makes the school feel a lot smaller and makes your life easier getting around campus because you know where your classes are going to be, all on one campus. It definitely makes us have a smaller school feeling, even with being a medium-sized school at around 11,000 undergraduate students. So it definitely helps us in terms of that size. That's where we are in terms of Massachusetts. We're about 35 minutes north of Boston. I love the area of Lowell because just geographically in New England, it is like a gateway to New England. You are under an hour to every type of outdoor activity you would possibly want to do. Going to the beach, hiking, skiing, backpacking, any outdoorsy stuff, hunting, or anything like that you want to do that involves being outside is going to be within 40 minutes of you. I've done almost all of those things, and they're all really close to us. And of course, being near Boston and Lowell being a city, you're going to have a lot of events, cultural opportunities in the city of Lowell itself. So that's really cool. Definitely a great location to be going to college and learning your program. The area between Lowell and Boston is kind of a tech corridor. So there's a ton of industry, such a variety of companies that it makes us as a research school very able to really place our students in the field very, very often. So that's definitely a bit about our location. And jumping into our numbers, that picture is going to cover all the big numbers people typically are looking for. So we have students from all 50 states and 122 nations. And of course, you see here the average numbers in terms of GPA, SAT. We are a test optional school though. I always highlight that we were actually one of the first public schools in New England to go test optional. So this is our 6th year doing it. We are very familiar with it and have actually streamlined it even more this year with the expected increase in those going test optional because of testing dates being canceled. So definitely apply test optional. And of course, you see the averages we're looking for most programs right there. We are a direct admit school, meaning if you apply for your major, even if it's nursing or engineering, some very competitive programs, you will find that you're getting directly admitted to the program. So these are all the majors listed. So that's of course important to know. We are by definition known as a STEM school. We're a public research university. So engineering and the sciences are very, very strong. Of course, nursing is very competitive as it is everywhere. However, some of our biggest programs are actually going to be psychology and criminal justice, those in the arts, humanities, and social sciences. So we are definitely a very diverse school in terms of where our students are studying and where they come from. And you're going to see such a variety of opportunities for master's and doctorate programs while keeping class sizes small at around 20 students average size. So that's, of course, an important note. In addition to the 6 colleges, we do offer an honors college, which is really just like an honors program, but really, really bigger and really jacked up. Obviously, dean, faculty, and staff as part of the program. And there's even specific housing that's just for honors students, which is, of course, some of the nicest housing on campus. So if you are thinking of doing an honors program, the honors college is something you could possibly do. An accelerated bachelor's to master's program, the vast majority of our 40+ master's degree programs offer that, which is basically a 4-year bachelor's degree and a 1-year master's degree. Very popular in education to be teacher and the MBA for business. But again, most of our 40+ master's programs do offer that. Being known as a STEM school, but of course being a research school for all programs, whether it's music or history, of course the engineering and sciences, hands-on learning is going to be a big, big factor of every degree. Not required for most programs, but going to be very much emphasized or really recommended for you to do those programs. This is covering a lot of the different categories that students can go into. So that's definitely important to know. With 300 study abroad programs, students can go anywhere in the world. All majors are available to go. I always just recommend for all students, no matter where you go to college, your study abroad should be something you're looking to earlier on so you can plan out your life a little better. So definitely take advantage of that, no matter where you go. Definitely an awesome opportunity. But as a research school, we really want you to be hands-on in some capacity, whatever when you choose. So whether it's working within the community, working in co-ops in a company and just getting paid in a lab, or doing your own research. Definitely students are really encouraged to do that and have a lot of options for that. In terms of options outside of the classroom, campus life, of course, the location, I talked about us geographically. That's going to be great for off-campus activities, but on campus, you see there is tons and tons of opportunities to do. Going to any one of our Division I sports, of course, they're going to be free. Our hockey team is definitely very, very strong and definitely very competitive. Housing is going to be available all 4 years. We always say available because it's not required of you. You're allowed to commute all 4 years if you wanted to, but it is guaranteed. If you were looking for housing all 4 years, you could definitely get it all 4 years. Themed living and learning communities are very popular, where you have a common theme, naturally, within the hallway or the floor of the building, whether it's related to an interest like sports or a specific major. So that's an opportunity you do have as a student is in one of those living and learning communities. Of course, being a city, being near Boston, you're going to have a lot of variety of foods, often on campus in the community nearby Lowell, and of course in Lowell. But then on campus, you're going to have such a variety of food for any type of dietary restrictions you have. So that's always important to know. And lastly, I leave it on the admissions slide here, giving the deadlines and my email address at the very bottom. While we do not offer any in-person tours right now, we do offer great virtual tours and a virtual reality tour. If you have a VR headset, definitely take advantage of that. But please remember that we are a test optional school. We have all these deadlines. We do not offer early decisions. So early action is a non-binding decision. So definitely apply early and get a decision, and hopefully you can get into UMass Lowell. But with that, thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a great night.
Thank you very much, UMass Lowell, excuse me. Just to our panelists, there are some general questions that have been answered that anybody is welcome to add to that thread. But up next will be Worcester Polytechnic Institute.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see you, albeit virtually. My name is Isabella Kamasura. I use she, her pronouns. I am here to represent Worcester Polytechnic Institute, or WPI. As you'll come to find out, we really like our acronyms. But a big part of this chunk, I'm just here to explain a lot about our academics because it's so different. So if you're looking at WPI, hopefully you're interested in STEM, right? So science, technology, engineering, and math. That's a big part of what we have to offer academically. So I'll walk you all through how we essentially deliver our academics, and we call that the WPI plan. It's been delivered for about 50 to 60 years. So we know that it works, and oftentimes employers ask our students about it because they know how unique it is. So there's 4 parts to it, and I'll walk you all through it through some wonderful graphics. The first part to the WPI plan is a really unique academic calendar. So some of y'all, maybe you're juniors or seniors in high school right now, and maybe you're taking classes for the whole year, or maybe some of the electives switch about halfway through. Most universities operate on a semester base where you're taking 5 classes for about 14, 16 weeks. At WPI, we split that even further. So instead of a semester, we have what's called quarters, or essentially terms. So our terms are 7 weeks long. And instead of focusing on 5 classes at a time, you're only worrying about 3 classes. So you could see there between A, B, C, and D term, again, 7 weeks long. You're only focusing on 3 classes at a time. So it's accelerated in a sense, and maybe you're comfortable with that sort of pace. But again, if you're only paying attention to 3 classes at one time, you're dedicating yourself to just those 3 classes. It kind of balances the fact that you're going faster than most other students. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. A big payoff with that is that our students finish the academic year pretty early. So it yields a pretty long summer for our students as well, 3.5, sometimes 4 months. And it kind of gives our students first dibs on any internships or co-ops. Co-ops are essentially paid internships, job shadows or part-time jobs or anything like that. So in terms of what it looks like this year with COVID going on, it's we're still operating under a term system. We're still paying attention to 3 classes at a time. Some of our students are fully remote. About a quarter of them elected to be fully remote, and then 3/4 of them are in a hybrid system. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But you can also take advantage of summer courses as well during the summer. But in terms of the second part of the WPI plan, a unique calendar kind of points to a unique curriculum as well. So we have what's called a flexible curriculum. If you're interested in STEM, I like to give the example of computer science majors, for example. So no 2 computer science majors take the exact same courses at WPI. It's really up to you to advocate on what your interests are and for you to pursue that, because we want you to explore what interests you. So for example, if you're into computer science and you're more so interested in cybersecurity, why don't you take this class? Or maybe you're more so interested in artificial intelligence, so why don't you take this class instead? So you have the flexibility to, nitpick and tailor and curate your own major. It's also flexible in the sense that we don't have any prerequisites. So maybe you're really, really good at math and you want to jump right into a junior level math class as a first-year student. You can do that. There's no prerequisites. You have that confidence in you, so why don't you act on it? So it's flexible in that sense as well, in that we're not going to tell you have to take this class at this time. The third part of the WPI plan, with a unique calendar, a unique curriculum, and then a unique grading policy. So we have what's called a non-punitive grading policy. It essentially means that you can only ever get 3 grades on your transcript at WPI, and we use letter grades. So to pass, you can only have an A, B, or C on your transcript. We want you to understand the material at least a passing level. So for us, a C is passing. There's no pluses or minuses either. So how that's been described to me by our students is it creates a non-competitive learning environment, right? Instead of shouldering each other for a B+ over an A- or that A- for an A, you're all just trying to understand the material to the best of your ability. So it's more so collaborative than competitive, even though it's a STEM university. What it also means that it's technically impossible to fail at WPI. So if, for example, you don't understand the material at least a C level, you can NR a class. And what that means is it's a no record. So it doesn't impact your GPA and it doesn't show up on your transcript. So there's no record of it. It's as if it never happened. That's not to say you can just NR your way to a degree at WPI. You'll eventually have to pass your classes, but it's there more so as a safety net, right? Maybe you do go after that junior level math class and maybe, gosh forbid, it doesn't go so well. You can NR that class and you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about us punishing you for trying, at least, right? That non-punitive grading policy. So that's definitely something to look forward to. It's not too often that our students NR a class. You can still NR 3 classes and still graduate on time at WPI because of how the curriculum is set up. So we give you that space to explore, whether it's in the area that you're interested in studying, or maybe it's something different altogether. The fourth part of the WPI plan is my favorite because it's the most hands-on and it makes sense being a STEM institution. So this idea of a project-based curriculum, every single class at WPI will have some sort of group work component, collaborative experience, some sort of project or lab-based experience. Hopefully that doesn't scare you. Hopefully you don't have too many bad project experiences. Hopefully it excites you. So the 4 projects that you see on the screen are essentially the 4 biggest ones that are associated with each of the 4 years you're typically at WPI. So Great Problem Seminar, typically done during your first year. Humanities and Arts is typically done during your sophomore year. IQP, or the Interactive Qualifying Project, is for junior level capstone, and then MQP, or the Major Qualifying Project, is typically the senior level capstone. And just to differentiate them further, Great Problem Seminar, or GPS, because again, we love our acronyms, it's certainly like a GPS because you're exploring how to do projects at WPI. So you take these great problems such as poverty or access to clean water or access to shelter, and you learn about it on the macro level scale, and you try to solve it in the micro level. So for example, I went to the presentations of the GPS projects last year, and one of them tackled the idea of sustainability. And so how did they solve it on the micro level? They wanted to put it into context of campus. So they proposed new ways of recycling and new ways of, composting on campus, so there's not as much food waste. So you're able to adapt and take on a problem right from the get-go. Humanities and Arts, even though we're a STEM school, you still have to take 6 classes in it and eventually a capstone project. So I know someone already asked in the chat if you can do languages, but that's definitely one thing you can do in terms of humanities and arts as well. And it could be business, psychology, philosophy, or the like. And then IQP and MQP are the junior and senior level capstones that you have. So you essentially work with other students to work on those projects, and it can be something related to what you're studying or not related to what you're studying. But I know my time is nearly up, so if you have any questions, please feel free to engage with us in the Q&A. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, WPI. And our last presenter this evening will be University of Maine.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the University of Maine presentation, and welcome to Maine. My name is Ace Barrera, and I am the Senior Associate Director of Admissions at the University of Maine. Number one thing that I wanted to mention about myself, a little background, is that I actually went to school at the University of Maine years ago. I majored in international affairs, political science. My dream back then was to travel all over the world, like maybe work in a US embassy somewhere, travel, and also like get to eat different foods around the world, and also see the sites in different countries around the world. I did end up taking my master's in higher education at the University of Maine because I felt like I wanted to work with colleges and students that are thinking about colleges in the near future. So one thing that I wanted to make sure that I convey at this point, if you are vaguely interested at Maine or the University of Maine, is that I would like to offer my services as the Senior Director, Associate Director of Admissions at the University of Maine as your personal contact. So if you have any questions about the University of Maine, about the application process and so forth, please feel free to contact me via email so that I can help you with that transition. So the University of Maine is the flagship university in the state of Maine. We are
I don't want to interrupt you. Just want to make sure you didn't want to share a presentation.
Oh, I'm good, Chris.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So we are the flagship university in the state of Maine. We are the biggest and most comprehensive university in the state. So we have about 12,000 students at the University of Maine. So for students that are coming from in-state, we are the largest and the biggest. But if you compare us for other universities in New England, we are actually the smaller grouping in terms of land and sea grant university in the state of Maine. So we kind of have that feel of a smaller school amongst other universities in New England, but at the same time, you get the benefit of being in a large institution in the state of Maine. We are the only Division I sports team in the state. We have over 200 clubs and organizations. And for 12,000 students in the university, we are the biggest kind of place in Maine. So for that matter, I'd like to talk a little bit about academics. Why do a lot of our in-state and our out-of-state students come to UMaine? So number one, if you are looking into an engineering school for the state of Maine, whether you are in-state or out-of-state, I am boldly saying that we are a top-notch engineering school for the state of Maine. We have 99% job placement for our engineering schools. We are also very famous for out-of-state students coming to the state of Maine in terms of natural sciences, forestry, and agriculture. So that means that if you're interested in wildlife ecology, the forestry, animal science, and veterinary science, and also marine science, we are very popular amongst our out-of-state students. It is a perfect place to be in Maine, at the University of Maine. We are in the heart and center of the state of Maine in terms of place to go, aside from the campus itself. To our east is our Bar Harbor, Maine. So you may be familiar with Bar Harbor, Acadia National Park. So a lot of our students go there, as well as tourists and also community members that like to go to Bar Harbor, Maine. To our north is our farmlands. We call it the county, which is our farmlands, blueberries, strawberries, farming lands. To our west is our skiing area. So you might have heard of a Sugarloaf, USA, or also Sunday River for our tourist area for skiing during the winter. And then to our south is Augusta, Maine, which is the capital of Maine, but also you might have heard of Kittery, Maine, and also Freeport, Maine, as far as shopping and so forth. So again, I wanted to make sure that I just wanted to go over a little bit about the University of Maine as far as a personal connection for myself and to help you think about UMaine as a possible college in the near future. Thank you so much, Chris. And I would like to turn it over to the next presenter.
Great, thank you very much. We do have a few minutes left. So attendees, you are welcome to pose any questions you might have in the Q&A. I might pose a quick question to our panelists, just 20, 30 seconds each. Perhaps you could share one thing that you did not include in your presentation with the group, whether that might be an event or tradition on campus that you really like, something in town, your favorite part of your campus, just some unique aspect that you did not have the opportunity to share. So why don't we go back in the same order, and we'll start with Boston University.
Sure, sorry, I was just unmuting video there. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my favorite parts of campus are you know, kind of not happening right now, but we're really excited for them to happen. The Boston Marathon, and I'm sure the other Boston area schools can attest to this, but it runs right through our campus. It's a huge event. It's basically a big party for the city of Boston, and it's one of the most exciting days all year. Our campus classes are canceled for us, and our students come out in force and cheer along. So right off the top of my head, that's probably one of my favorite traditions, and I can't wait for it to be back as it normally is.
Great, thank you. Nichols?
Yes, thank you. So as I was fumbling around with the screen presenting aspect of Zoom, I skipped over the slide that included a couple snapshots of campus. And I just wanted to reiterate that we are allowing campus visitors currently. So by visiting nichols.edu/events, that'll bring you to our event page. You can feel free to register directly through that link as well. individualized private campus tours, just your family members and our student ambassador. And of course, that'll give you not only the best sense of campus, but a feel for the community as well. So if you have the means to do so, I would always encourage a visit. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Suffolk?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously I gotta say Boston Marathon again too. Probably one of the best days to be in the city. It's just a fantastic environment. But I also gotta say, like, my favorite thing is to go around the north end of Boston. Super quick walk for us. Go get some of that Italian food, some of the great pastries up there. Students get cheap tickets to all the sporting events, so go see a couple Bruins and Celtics games. And we always joke around and say most students who end up coming to campus end up becoming Boston sports fans, because whenever a team wins a championship, they actually take the parade right down Tremont Street in front of our campus. So students know to cheer on the Boston teams, because if they win, they get a day off from school. So that's probably what I always say about campus.
I went to grad school in Boston and was there when the Red Sox won the World Series, and I've adopted them as well. UMass Lowell?
Yes. So the one thing I didn't say that I would say I just miss is just being able to around people in general. The cultural events in the city of Lowell. There's a Southeast Asian Water Festival, an African festival in the city of Lowell. The hockey games, of course, division hockey games are always fun. So really my answer is any gathering that's more than just a few people where you could be in big crowds, I miss. And I definitely love the opportunities within Lowell, the events that happen in the city. And I'm hoping next summer I can actually do them, but that's what I'd have to say.
Great, thank you. WPI?
I'm back. Yes, just to mention that WPI has no application fee this year. So if there are any folks interested in STEM, no matter who you are, no matter your gender or your sexuality or your race or ethnicity or your socioeconomic status, hopefully that is going to be more accessible for any sort of student. So we look forward to seeing your applications.
Great, thank you. And University of Maine?
Yes, thank you so much, Chris, for hosting this event. I did want to reemphasize for our students that are tuning in today, if I had any advice for any students, get to know the counselors that you're meeting during these virtual events. Again, my name is Ace Barrera. I think if you research the search bar at the University of Maine, I'm the only Ace that you're going to find. So if you're tuning in tonight and would like to know more about the University of Maine, feel free to type my name, Ace Barrera, and I think you will find me. I think my last kind of comment about tonight is that we are very excited to get our in-state students and also our out-of-state students to come to the University of Maine. I think Maine has to, the University of Maine in particular has a lot to offer for out-of-state students, particularly because we are in the heart of Maine. Again, if you're into the outdoors, if you're into field work, if you're into have family connections that have been traveling or has camps or visiting the Maine in particular, we are the university for you. So again, please feel free to reach out to me. I wanted to take some more time, like making that personal contact during the session as far as helping you out through this application period. So Chris, thank you so much for hosting again. And for my colleagues that are here tonight, I think we did a great job. So.
Great. Thank you very much, University of Maine, and thank you to all of our panelists. We did have a last second question come in about sharing your contact information. Just want to reassure the attendees, your information is going to be shared with the colleges and universities, so they certainly will be in contact with you. So thank you for joining us this evening. I just want to do a few quick housekeeping items. When you close this window, you will receive a 4-question survey that we ask that you take a minute and complete. Also, again, encourage you to sign up for more sessions at the same website where you signed up for this evening session. And about 1 week from today, a recording of this session will also be available on that website. But thank you again. Thank you to all of our panelists and students. Good luck in your college applications.